You know how I tell you that the stock market isn't going to make you rich? And then a lot of you guys get upset about that because you don't believe me and you think that I just don't like stocks and just because I like real estate that I'm just giving people false information. Well, I want to make this video real quick to address a couple things. So one, I want to show you why the stock market is going to make you rich doing the traditional way of investing in the stock market. And we're not talking about day trading. We're not talking about option trading or swing trading or any of those things where you're actually actively trading. I'm talking about passively trading. I want to show you why that will not make you rich and what will make you rich. And then I want to show you if you do insist on doing trading, like I did some trading for a while. I did some options trading, some complex options trading. I had fun doing that. But if you insist on doing that, let me show you exactly the right way to do that and talk about how you can actually solve the main three problems that exist for anyone that wants to make money trading. You might be making money now, but you're going to lose money if you haven't addressed those three issues. First of all, let's just take a look at why traditional investing, of the long-term investing in the stock market, does not work. Right. So most people, what they do is they put their money in the 401k. There's some tax advantages there, of course, but even with that, it still doesn't make sense. You're going to have a lot of fees involved also that most people don't take into account. So that's one thing. The second thing that people do is they put their money into an ETF or S&P 500, basically an exchange traded fund that is going to return approximately 8 to 10% per year because it's going to keep up with the average returns of the stock market, following the biggest companies and things like that. And historically, it's been 8 to 10% return. I think it's more like 6 to 8%, but it depends on how you do the math on it. Let's say that it's 8% returns. Now, that's what most people do. And I want to just show you real quick why that doesn't work. So you can just look up a compound interest calculator online and you can just punch in some numbers here. Right? So let's say that you put $10,000 in as your initial investment, and I'm going to say that you can contribute $2,000 per month, which, that's pretty aggressive. Most of you probably wouldn't be able to do that. Some of you could do more, but let's just put that as a number. And then let's say that you have 10 years and that your interest rate is going to be 8%. Now, if we calculate this, you're going to see that in 10 years, you only have $369,000. So that's enough to retire. That's not enough to become financially free. But you say, well, John, 10 years is a ridiculous time frame. How about 30 years? Sure, 30 years, it's fine. $2.8 million. Now, 30 years from now, $2.8 million isn't going to be a lot. It's not going to be enough to retire. It's barely enough to retire in my definition today, because I say you have to have $3 million in order to do that, to become truly financially free. So $2.8 million is going to be worth maybe $1.2 million, which you might seem like a lot of money in 30 years, but it's still not that much. And it's 30 years. So if you're 20 years old right now, that means you're not going to become financially free until you're 50 years old, assuming everything goes correctly here. And we're not even including taxes or anything into that calculation. So we're assuming this is growing in your 401k or something like that. It's a tax-free growth account. Now, if you're 30, then 30 years would put you at 60. So if you want to become financially free and do it while you're young, that's not going to happen. Now, compare this to what I tell you guys about investing in real estate. We're not going to go into the details in this video, but let's say that you can get a 40% return on your money, which is something that I show you exactly how to do in real estate. All right. And let's say that you have 10 years to do that. You're going to see that you're already you're at $2 million in just 10 years. Now you can do even better than that, but that's a lot better. And if you give yourself 15 years, basically half the time of that 30, you'll be at $10 million in 15 years. So that's a huge, huge difference. I hope you can see that. I mean, if you give yourself 30 years, it'd be some ridiculous astronomical number. You're not going to continue to compound and get 40% returns in that amount of time, because once you accumulate so much capital, it becomes harder to get those kind of returns. But hey, that's $1.6 billion there based on this math. Okay. So the thing about this is how the compounding works. So again, if we take a look at this and we even just drop this down to 20%, then you're at $30 million. And so if we look at 15 years at a 20% rate, which is easily achievable in real estate, then you are at 1.8 million. So when you look at these scenarios, it's really important to understand that if you are talking about becoming financially free, you need a better way than doing the long-term stock market type of investing that most people do. It's just not going to work. And again, we can go into more details on this if you want to check out. If you haven't subscribe to the channel, and I'll be going over this stuff. Look at my Instagram as well. I've got a bunch of reels on there talking about that. If you're not part of the Bulldog Mindset membership, that definitely has some in-depth information on this. And I do have a Well Done Everyone's Dry program where I show you exactly how to become financially free. Now, Now, getting to the main topic of this video, if you are going to trade in the stock market, then there's 3 problems that you need to be able to overcome. The first one is that you need to find some good trading ideas. So you need to know what is it to actually trade, because you can't just sit there at the screen and be like, all right, well, maybe I should buy some Tesla stock today, or go on hunches. You need to look for signals and know how to find those signals to know what things to trade. Now, when I traded options and I did iron condors, it was a little bit easier because I could look at some specific index fund and I could create a strategy around that, but I had to wait for opportunities and I had to know what I was looking for to find those opportunities. So you have to find some good trading ideas. That's key. Otherwise, none of this is going to work. And there's some definite strategy around this. There's some sophisticated tools that you can use to look at other trade books and to see what other people are trading. You can see what options, you can see how things correlate to the news. So that's important to know. The second thing is you need to be able to execute these good trade ideas. That means that just because you know what you want to do, and you need to understand the mechanics behind it. But if I want to, for example, you say, I think Tesla stock is going to go down and I want to short the Tesla stock. Do you even know how to do that? Do you know how to set that up in a trading system to do the correct options, to do that where you're able to hedge yourself and you're able to make money when that stock goes down, but if it stays neutral or goes up, you don't lose money? How can you set things up like that? You need to actually be able to execute on those trading ideas and how to create stop losses so you can prevent yourself from losing money, how to basically hedge those trades to take the risk off the table, and then to not put your whole bankroll into things. So you have to do multiple trades and you have to know how to manage your money in order to do that. Very important. And then the third one is that you have to deal with the idea that trading is time consuming. This is the big problem that I've had with doing trading, because I did it for a while. Like I said, I was doing options trading. I was making some good money, but it takes too much time. You need to have some way to automate that, some systems for doing that. And that's really, really important to do. So again, I'm not an expert in all of this stuff. I have done this stuff. I've made some money doing this stuff, but it's not what I'm focusing on. I teach you guys how to become financially free, building a business, doing real estate stuff. But I know that a lot of you guys do want to learn how to trade, and you can make some really good money trading. If that is something that is interesting to you and you want to learn, I have a friend of mine that put together some free training on automated training on how to trade for a living in 2022. I'm going to put a link down below and check that out. He's got basically 3 days of free training that's going to show you exactly how to find good trades, how to execute on those trades, and then how to automate all that. And that's the thing, is if you're going to get into this and you're going to do this, you need to do it the right way. You need to do it the smart way. And so, like I said, I've discouraged a lot of people from doing this in the past, because a lot of guys I see are just jumping the gun. They're not learning this kind of stuff. And you need to learn this from someone who's actually done this, who's worked for hedge funds like my buddy has, and understands how to solve all 3 of these problems. So if you want to get in on that training, like I said, it's totally free. You can do that. Just click the link down below and jump on there, and you can learn how to trade for a living in 2022. But do not go the traditional route of investing in long-term in the stock market, thinking that somehow you're going to get rich by compounding interest. It's just not going to happen, because you're not going to get a high enough rate of return and you don't have enough time. If you had 40 years, 50 years, sure, I would agree with that. But most of you guys, if you want to retire in 10, 15 years, you're going to need to do something a lot more aggressive. I recommend building a business and investing in real estate. But if you want to do something in additional to that, where you want to do some active trading, click the link down below, jump on the free training, at least educate yourself before you jump into this.